Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sports Shorts Daily. Ronnie Rance, Tommy Chrysan. It's Rougarou Friday. TK and I both rocking the Rougarou gear. I've got the hat. Rougarou play at home tonight. It's Bark at the Park, the Raising Cane's. Cane 3, the dog you see on the commercials and the ads and everything. Cane 3 will be in the house. You can meet Cane 3, take a picture. Cane 3 is going to be bringing out the first pitch. You notice I didn't say throwing out the first pitch. But Bark at the Park, doors open at 6. Game starts at 7. We'll have a parade of dogs during the first inning. We'll have awards given out, all that kind of stuff. You don't want to miss it. And then also middle of the seventh inning stretch time, we're going to have the Jerry Lane Chevrolet fireworks show, 5-minute fireworks show. And you say, wait a minute, it's Bark at the Park, dogs, fireworks, it doesn't seem good. That's middle of the 7th, people, middle of the 7th. That means it'll be like 9 o'clock, 9:15, something like that, which means the dogs will be gone and the families and all the other people that stick around, unless you got a super dog who can handle fireworks. But we'll have a 5-minute fireworks show. It's going to be a fantastic professional fireworks show. The same people that put on the Hall of Fame fireworks show going to be doing it today. 7th inning stretch. Don't want to miss it. Jerry Lane Fireworks. Awesome night tonight. 1502 Foss Street. Where do y'all play? We play downtown. You know where Catholic High plays football, Memorial Stadium? Literally next door to that. So we hope to see you there. TK and I on this College World Series Friday edition. The CWS gets started today. 2 games. He is presented, of course, over at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood, as he is every Wednesday and Friday. And speaking of Tremonti's, they have the best burgers in town. They have the best Rougarou sausage. They have the best hot dogs. And you know what? You can get that all at every single Rougarou game thanks to Tremonti's. And then I'm in an undisclosed location presented by the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. And LeBears, of course, is our presenting sponsor. And speaking of the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, we are literally, as we speak, 6 days away from the start of all the festivities. We have over up in Natchitoches, 3 o'clock on Wednesday. We have on Thursday, next week, the 20th, we have our press conference, which you can watch it live on our Facebook page. Follow us along on LA Sports Hall, the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame on Facebook, as well as our YouTube page. So go check that out there. Press conference 3 to 5, free welcome reception. You heard me, FREE, 5 to 7, open to the public, food, drink, you name it. See all the new stuff at the museum. Meet some of the Hall of Famers. That'll be next Thursday from 5 to 7. And then on Friday, we've got all kinds of events. Saturday as well. Go to lasportshall.com. All right, TK. So today, college baseball, the World Series begins, and it's always a sinking feeling, always a pit in your stomach feeling when the Tigers are not at the College World Series. It's a little bit of a surprise, no question about it. We thought for sure they would be back there this year, preseason-wise. They were top 5 in the country. And the fact that, and we know that they were 1 out away, or what is it, 1 inning, I guess. When they tied it up in the 9th, was it 2 outs?
Yes.
Yeah. 1 out away from being in the Super Regional, which everyone believes at home against West Virginia, the Tigers would have punched their ticket to the College World Series. So it definitely is a little disappointing. But at the same time, I'm excited about the College World Series. You also have the U.S. Open going on, which we'll talk about in a minute. No Tiger Woods miracle story on the horizon, it looks like this time around. But a lot going on in the world of sports. The NBA Finals, the Celtics may get another title. They are pretty close to, they 1 win away from closing that out. But the College World Series, even though LSU's not there, I'm excited about this year's matchup. 4 SEC teams, 4 ACC teams. The SEC is just about guaranteed having a team in the finals. But, I've noticed people have said different things online about should you pull for an SEC team or not? What's your takeaway?
I think absolutely you do, because it is the best conference. The ACC is very good, obviously, but I think you do that. I mean, I don't care. I'm a big LSU fan. You still got to do it. If you're an Ole Miss fan, you got to pull for the SEC, in my opinion, because you want your conference to, accomplish as much as it can. So when you're out there recruiting, you can tell them kids, hey, you come to our conference, you're playing against the best, you're playing with the best, and, look what happens. Look who goes to Omaha, look who gets drafted, look who's on opening day Major League Baseball rosters. I mean, it never ends. So I think you clearly pull for the SEC.
Speaking of the SEC, of course, giant news. Paul Maneri had his official press conference. It's just so weird still. I'm sure Notre Dame fans thought it was weird seeing him in purple and gold after being in the green all those years. Now fans are suffering that same fate. Paul Maneri, who first came to Baton Rouge um, in the fall of 2006 or summer of 2006. Here he is now in the summer of 2024. Press conference at South Carolina, putting on that garnet. Um, 66 years old. I mean, it's just still just you shake your head. It's strange to see. He put together his. You saw the press conference.
Well, it was odd to see in the gray suit with the garnet red tie and all the South Carolina stuff behind him. You know, it was a little different to see that. But he'll be 67 years old in August. Said he showed up there to win and to win right away. He's not, building a program. And Carolina's got a very rich baseball championship, back-to-back titles in 2010 and 2011. So, Ray Tanner's the AD. That was the guy that coached them to championship teams and many other appearances to Omaha. And, of course, Paul Maneri's been to Omaha a bunch, too, not just with LSU, but took Notre Dame there as well. It was funny, though, the gray suit and the garnet tie and all the Carolina stuff behind him. And, he looked energetic. He said he feels 40 years old. Okay. We'll see about that. He must be on River of Life capsules if he feels 40. I don't know. But hey, it'll be interesting to see how it exactly plays out. And I mean, SEC baseball, you throw in Oklahoma and Texas. By the way, I misspoke the other day. LSU plays at South Carolina next spring. I think I said South Carolina was at LSU. So I'll correct that now that they're at South Carolina at some point next spring. The date will be announced. But it's going to be different with him over there at South Carolina. And no East and West anymore. They're going to stack all 16 teams in there. And all 16 will go to the SEC tournament, so he will be in Hoover. Just don't know where he'll be seated.
It's look, I pull for him, Terry Rooney, both good guys, right? Like we're obviously, I know both those guys, and Terry Rooney had a great role. Jay Johnson was excited to have him as kind of a, in that recruiting role mainly, sort of non-coaching role. And look, at the end of the day, Terry Rooney wants to get back on the field in that uniform. And it's an opportunity for him to leave LSU after 1 year in a role that was probably very suited for Terry to go over there to South Carolina. Paul has a familiar assistant in Terry, somebody he trusts, somebody who's been a pitching coach for him before. So that familiarity is great. Plus, Terry knows how to maneuver the new way. He knows how to maneuver NIL transfer portal. Then you got Monty Lee, who's over there on that staff. Guy's a veteran, was a former longtime coach at Clemson. And then he was already on the staff. He's going to be their hitting guy. Another guy familiar with the state. South Carolina, North Carolina, going to know everybody. That's important because Paul's coming into foreign territory. So you got a person there who knows where everything is, knows who everything is, familiarity with the state, familiarity with the program, has won and done well on the East Coast and recruited the East Coast. You got another guy in Terry Rooney who has recruited all over and has done it at different levels. So you got a very veteran assistant staff. You got a staff that should on paper do well. Who I thought Blake Dean might get some love, get an opportunity to maybe get out of UNO and upgrade his salary and move into the SEC as an assistant and all that. Instead, and you understand why, Paul Maneri hired Jim Henry's son. Jim Henry is Paul Maneri's best friend. Jim Henry gave Paul Maneri his first job back in the day in high school at St. Thomas. Not St. Thomas, at Columbus High School in Miami back, in the 80s. They've been best friends ever since. The former GM of the Cubs and assistant to the president of the Yankees and all that kind of stuff. Paul's always leaned on Jim for advice. Every hiring, everything he's done, he's always been a big part of Paul's career. And, he obviously rewarded that with Jim hiring Jim Henry's son, who is is currently in his third season at Virginia, who's still alive this year, as an assistant, head of player development and recruiting is his role. He's a young guy, just graduated college, like 21. But that would have probably been a spot that I would have thought one of his guys would have slid into, that he played for him. But I understand with Jim, and it makes all the sense in the world. And you know what? If I was Paul, I'd be loyal to Jim and had made that hire probably as well. So that's kind of his core staff. And then, of course, he'll have other people. But it's going to be there's no East and West. It's going to be 1 through 16 with a rotating schedule. Obviously, you're not going to play 6 teams every year, and it'll be a home and home, and then you'll play a new crop. So that's going to be very interesting. I myself, unless there's something unbeknownst to my schedule in life, will be on that flight to South Carolina, and we'll be there when LSU plays South Carolina, a 3-game series in Columbia. I've got some friends that live over there as well that are big Raging Cajun fans, but I'll be there because I got to see that. I got to see, and knowing Paul, Tommy, and you know him too, he is not going to like this. He is going to be uncomfortable. His stomach's going to be bothering him, all that kind of stuff when he takes on LSU, and because that's not what he likes to do. He doesn't like to play his former teams, his former coaches.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. One thing about having Terry Rooney, they know each other well, and that helps. Because if Terry can go to Paul and say, "Okay, we got to do X, Y, Z," and Paul's going to trust him. Okay, so and he knows Paul, Paul knows him. I think that helps, especially when you got a whole new situation. But the key is going to be players. Can they put a roster together that can compete in the SEC? And time will tell.
Yeah. Speaking of putting a roster together, LSU out there active in the portal and obviously continue to be. But, they got the Wofford ace, who on paper.
And the number 2 guy, which is coming to now.
You got number 1, number 2 for Wofford's got to be like, dude, you came and beat us twice, and now you got to take our players? I mean, what the hell?
Well, that's like what Blake Dean said, Ronnie, the last couple of years. It's every year, 2 or 3 of his top hitters since his transfer portal have left UNO. And if a team in the Southland loses 2 or 3 of their top hitters, that's a serious impact on that team. So that's what's happening to Wofford, who won their conference and, played some decent baseball, obviously. But, man, it's just that's the world we live in now. That's the landscape of college baseball. And I think fans are going to have to adjust. You're going to have to embrace it. But it's kind of crazy.
Well, a big hitter is coming to LSU.
Yes.
Hernandez kid.
Indiana State.
Hernandez played in a regional, 23 pumps, over 300 batting average, a veteran hitter, a guy who's played 4 years in college. Very interesting. Now, he's draft eligible. Will he get taken, late and go? Obviously, we'll see. But right-handed bat, which helps LSU's case of probably getting him to college. Getting him to come next year. But, hey, you think, well, wait a minute, Ronnie. Mac Bingham hit 365 last year at Arizona with 90-something hits, and he only hit, 270 or whatever this year at LSU and ended up losing his job and not playing much at the end. I hear you, but is 23 homers is real. A 300-plus average with 23 homers, that's a real number. And so, it's not just the high average, it's the homers too. So there's real juice there. You don't just accidentally hit 23 homers,
I agree.
And so that's exciting that they have somebody with real juice that they can plug in. And the idea is that he's going to play first because it's expected that, Big Boy Jones will be signing. So anyway, hey, not a surprise. Look, I'm sure they'll add more pieces. Like Jay Johnson, very active in the portal. You got the South Florida pitcher as well, reliever, who's got great numbers. He is he's moving along as you would expect him to move along. And by the way, they got lots of guys coming, back, as well as Shores, who is a 6'6" righty who throws the ball mid and upper 90s, who missed all of this past year, but he's going to be healthy and ready to go next year. So excited about LSU. But tonight, College World Series, couple of matchups. Virginia, O'Connor, the former assistant for Pulmonary, who's had done a great job at Virginia for many years and had them, they won a national championship. They're going to be taking on their ACC rival, North Carolina. Of course, we know that story and knocked off LSU and as well. So a little ACC matchup there. Two teams that are ranked a 4 seed, a 12 seed, and then the nightcap. you got the Florida Gators, who were not.
Florida State.
Florida State.
Florida State and Tennessee.
Florida's tomorrow. Florida State today taking on Tennessee, number 1 seed versus number 8 seed. And how about Florida State has never won a national championship? I don't think they're going to do it this year. I truly, if I had to pick, think Tennessee's going to break the curse of the number 1 seed thing. But Florida State, law of averages, Tommy, they keep getting there. They've been there, 30 times?
24th trip. This is their 24th trip, and they never won it. Ironic, I was looking this morning. Most of the big-time college football writers from around the country, college baseball, most of them are picking Tennessee. Okay, yeah. A couple of them have picked North Carolina. I am going with dark horse, the team that's never been to Omaha before. I like Kentucky. I like Mingione as a coach, and I think these guys have some arms and they can play baseball. Okay, keep in mind they went 22-8 in league play, 22-8, tied with Tennessee, but lost the head-to-head thing. So I'm going to go dark horse, wild. I like value. I'm going to go with Kentucky, but just about everybody, vast majority, picking Tennessee.
Even though the stat is out there, right? The number 1 seed hasn't won the national championship since '99. Is that the stat?
Yeah, Miami Hurricanes in '99, the last overall number 1 to win the title.
And the hitting coach on that team was a guy by the name of Turtle Thomas, who ended up at LA season. Even though that stat is there, and it's a giant stat, it's how do you pass up a team that has played so well and is playing so well at the right time and has that chip on their shoulder that you kind of need.
They definitely got some chips. They got a block on their shoulder, not a chip. They got like the big brick, like the big cinder block.
Right. And what I mean by that is the chip isn't always bad because the difference with having a chip on your shoulder in Omaha and not is going there with the expectation of we want to win or this trip wasn't worth it. I don't want to say worth it, but it's not successful. Whereas Kentucky, they lose. Hey, we went to Omaha, first time in program history. They're excited, right? Their fan base is excited. We went 0-2, but man, it was awesome to be here. Tennessee goes 0-2. People are surly. Players are surly. Fans are surly. So there's something to be said for that chip.
Yeah, well, and, the other reason I like Kentucky, Mingione was the SEC Coach of the Year in 2017. That was his first year in the league. And he was Coach of the Year again this year. So, that's a long run, a good run. Kentucky baseball used to be an afterthought, because it's so much of a basketball school, et cetera. But their football and baseball programs, and don't know a lot about the other sports, have really elevated themselves here lately. And, I'm a big Kentucky fan of their coach. And, I know the odds are against them with the first trip thing. Coach Bertman always talked about that because, like you said, if Kentucky goes 0-2, it'll be, okay, we got to Omaha. Now we got to get back and try to win it. But, we'll see how that plays. It's going to be fun. I'll be all over Kentucky's first game tomorrow against NC State, Florida, Texas A&M tomorrow night, the Aggies. So there's a couple of people pick the Aggies to win this whole thing too.
Yeah, no, they're very, very good. And they got one of the best coaches in America. That's, look, honestly, this is one of the more even College World Series out there. When you're Cinderella as Florida, that's pretty good World Series, right? And what I mean by that, you got some dogs in there. You got a lot of teams that expect to win. And even Florida, who barely had a 500 record, above 500 record going into a regional, had to be a 3 seed on the road in Oklahoma State. Even Florida, they expect to win. They're not in awe of being there.
Well, the other thing too, Ronnie, there's 2 teams that are there, Florida and Virginia, who have won a title. The other 6 have not won a title. So in all likelihood, there'll be somebody winning their first title unless the Gators or the Cavaliers can get real hot, So the odds would tell you if 6 of them haven't won and one of them will, because anything can happen at Omaha. We know that very well. So that's another interesting thing, too. Somebody may be getting that first ever crown, kind of like Mississippi State did a few years back, and then Ole Miss followed them. Now, when LSU got it, it was their 7th, not their first. So a lot of storylines in Omaha. I know Ben McDonald is up there on the coverage. I'm guessing Todd Walker will be there, Kyle Peterson. It's going to be good. Be definitely worth checking all that stuff out. Hey, while we wait for Ryan to jump back, don't forget Sports Shorts Radio tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. to 12 noon on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. We'll be live from the Bruley Walk-Ons tomorrow, so don't forget that. 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Come on out to the Bruley Walk-Ons. They open the doors at 11. That's always presented by LeBear's Casino and Hotel Baton Rouge. So check us out. Hunter McCann on vacation again. The guy gets like 12 vacations a year. But Ronnie and I and Joel Davis, and we may round up another person or two. We'll have radio for you tomorrow morning.
Yeah, when I grow up, I want to be for my vacation. I want to be Janet Rance or Hunter McCann, one of the two. Between the two of them, if you spaced out their calendars, they'd never be home. Tonight, we told you about the Baton Rouge Rougarou in action, but also tonight is the NBA Finals. I don't want to say it's a foregone conclusion, but when the Celtics win Game 3 without Porzingis even playing, bodes pretty well that they're gonna win tonight, or at least Game 5.
Well, go out to the sports book. The Mavericks are a 1.5 favorite, if you can believe that. I said the other night when they went to Game 3, Mavericks were a 2.5 point favorite. I'm like, I think the Celtics got this in the bag. So you can watch the game at the sports book at LeBear's. You can get to the window or the kiosk and place your bet. I would bet the Celtics to go ahead and wrap it up. You get the 1.5 in case some craziness the Mavericks win by 1. You can still win your bet. So you can do that at the sports book tonight. It'll be a fun thing to do out there at LeBear's.
Tomorrow on Sports Shorts Radio, we're going to be at Bruley Walk-Ons. Yeah,
correct.
We'll be at the Bruley Walk-Ons, the home of the Ron Rance mural. You can see that, front left. Like when you walk into the main dining room, don't look at Alex Bregman and all that to the right. Just go straight front left. You could go, Tommy, the funny thing is you could go up to the host podium at Walk-Ons and you could go in there, hey, table of 6, I'd like to sit next to the Ronnie Rance mural. They'd have no clue what you're talking about. None. Zero.
No, they'd have to let me check with the manager.
Yeah, like who? Yeah,
I'll tell you what we'll do tomorrow when I get there. I'll take a picture of you on the wall and I'll post that on the pic when I make my post about the show coming up, so that everybody who goes to Bruley Walk-Ons can look for it and check it out, and they can say they listened to you on Sports Shorts Daily and Sports Shorts Radio. They've been to a Rougarou game, whatever it might be. You're getting more popular.
By the way, the Tommy always claims that in the photo it looks like I'm throwing the ball high and outside. It was an 0-2 pitch. We were trying to go up in the zone and the guy swung and missed. I just remembered that. I just remembered that was the pitch, and so that's why it looked.
Yeah. Well, and I just remembered that I struck out Paul Maneri with a curveball in the dirt back in the day. So there we go. The only two good pitches we probably ever threw.
Right. What else you got, TK? Because look,
the U.S. Open, Ronnie. I watched a lot of U.S. Open yesterday. Pinehurst is being Pinehurst. So many balls roll off the back, the front, the side, left, right. People are putting the ball. They had an 85-foot putt from off the green, 80-yard putt from off the green. It's a challenge of how do you want to get it close and then not hit it. I've seen guys put it up on the green and go off the back end of the bunker. I mean, it's a tough golf course. And there's no rain predicted. Now, they're putting water on greens, but this course is toughening up. I watched a half hour or so this morning on Peacock, and it is toughening up. Now, here's the big stat. Rory McIlroy shot a bogey-free 65 yesterday. It's a par 70. There's 2 par 5s for normal people like you and I that have converted to 4s for the U.S. Open. The only 3 times in McIlroy's career when he shot a bogey-free round in the first round of a major, he won that major. Kind of a little bit eerie there. So he went bogey-free, 500, tied with Patrick Cantlay. And but McIlroy's already missed some putts this morning. I could get an update on the leaderboard. But
while you're looking for that, when I went, I was over in Ireland the week of the 20th, playing golf for 6 days with a big group, and we had a guy on a par 5, Tommy. I think it was at. Oh man, I don't even want to try to name the golf course. Can't remember. And it was a par 5. He went driver, putted 4 times, and parred the hole. Hear me? Driver, he was about 185 out, putted, and 4 times parred the hole. The caddy who had been a caddy there for like 30 years. When I saw him by the green after he finished the hole, he literally took his hat off and was scratching his head. And it was like, I've never seen that before. 30 years, never seen that before. But
all right, here we go. Scheffler's 2 over today, 3 over on the tournament. McIlroy 2 over today, 3 under on the tournament. Sam Burns tees off in the group before Tiger Woods. Burns goes at noon, Tiger 12-14 right after him. Cantlay and Oberg are still the leaders. They haven't teed off yet. They'll be after Tiger Woods. It's a lot of fun. It's a challenge. Everybody always talks about the U.S. Open, because I predicted 7 or 8 under would win the tournament, even though you had guys 5 under yesterday. That's all going to back up. But it makes amateur golfers like you and I and many others, some people find it good to see guys struggle or they hit that shot. We've seen Tiger Woods putt it awfully out. He started off first couple of holes decent yesterday. And then he hit everything that he was hitting fairways. See, Pinehurst is a second shot course. You got to put it on the green in the right spot, similar to Augusta. So it's going to be fun. If you're into golf, the U.S. Open, check it out. You'll see guys having trouble out there. Let's put it that way. They had a guy. How about they got John Rahm withdrew. His replacement was a golfer from Ole Miss who shot like 1 under yesterday. Today on the very first hole, double bogey, including a swing and a miss. A swing and a miss from like that wiry grass stuff. He like swung and everybody looking at the ball. It was still down there, which that counts as a stroke.
Right.
On his first hole today. And he's playing with Hideki Matsuyama, and there's another big name in that group, but he happened to be replacing John Rahm, who withdrew due to a foot injury.
Wow. Swing and a miss. That makes me feel better. All right, TK, tell us about Tremonti's.
Couple of things, Ronnie. Father's Day sale. Whole tenderloin, $16.99 a pound. Father's Day sale. And today they got a special ball crabs and ball shrimp, $20. 4 o'clock it's ready today. Call and reserve. Stop by and reserve. Ball crabs, ball shrimp special. They started all these other lunch specials during the week. The wings, the burgers, the brisket. You need to check out Tremonti's Meat and Seafood on Jefferson Highway in Baton Rouge. So much stuff in here. Everything you need for the Father's Day weekend, the cookout, the grilling, cooking inside, whatever it might be. Stop by Tremonti's Meat and Seafood right here in Baton Rouge. All right, couple things. Don't forget Sports Shorts Radio tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. to 12 noon. And then tonight, the big night out at Pete Goolsbee Field, where you can get a Tremonti's burger and a Tremonti's Rougarou sausage and Tremonti's hot dogs. Home game tonight against Lake Charles, Bark in the Park, Raising Cane's night with Todd Graves, fireworks show from Jerry Lane Enterprises. It's all tonight at Pete Goolsbee Field in Baton Rouge. Want to see you there. Radio tomorrow. On behalf of Ronnie Rance, I'm Tommy Chrysan. Have a good day, everyone.